Imagine standing at the helm of an empire, commanding armies, governing vast territories, and shouldering the weight of an entire civilization. Now, imagine doing all of this while battling your own doubts, fears, and the constant uncertainty of life itself. This was the reality of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome. And yet, through all the turmoil, he left behind a private journal, never meant for publication, filled with thoughts on how to live virtuously, face adversity, and cultivate inner peace. Meditations is not just a book, it's a guide to mastering the art of living. In this summary, we'll break down its wisdom, distilling the lessons that have guided leaders, thinkers, and seekers of truth for nearly 2 millennia. What can a Roman emperor teach us about modern life? Stay with me, and by the end of this journey, you'll have powerful tools to navigate challenges, find tranquility in chaos, and lead a life of wisdom and purpose. Section 1. Foundations of Stoicism. Books 1 and 2. Marcus begins his reflections by acknowledging the people who shaped him. He expresses gratitude for the virtues he learned from his mentors, family, and friends. From his grandfather, he learned patience. From his mother, kindness and generosity. And from his philosophical teachers, he embraced a commitment to reason and self-discipline. This opening lesson is profound. Wisdom is inherited not through birth, but through observation and practice. As we listen to his reflections, we are reminded that our own character is shaped by those we choose to learn from. He urges us to be mindful of the influences we allow into our lives as they shape the person we become. If we wish to be virtuous, we must surround ourselves with those who embody the values we seek to cultivate. As we move into Book 2, Marcus confronts a harsh reality. Each day, we will meet people who are selfish, rude, or ignorant. But he reminds himself, and us, that their actions are not within our control. Our response, however, is. He reinforces the idea that our primary focus should be on maintaining our own integrity, rather than allowing the faults of others to dictate our behavior. By keeping our minds steady and our actions rooted in virtue, we can navigate any situation with dignity. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is our first key lesson. Do not expect the world to be fair or kind, but commit to acting with integrity regardless of others' behavior. In doing so, we rise above pettiness and cultivate an unshakable inner peace. Section 2. Mastering the Mind. Books 3 and 4. In Book 3, Marcus reflects on mortality. He reminds himself that life is fleeting and that we must not waste time on trivial matters. He warns against getting caught up in gossip, ambition, or external validation. Instead, he urges us to focus on our purpose, to work diligently, and to remember that true fulfillment comes from within. Do not act as if you have 10,000 years to live. He encourages us to approach life with a sense of urgency. We do not have infinite time, so we must ensure that each action we take is meaningful and aligned with our values. By focusing on what truly matters, we eliminate distractions and cultivate a sense of purpose that fuels our every decision. Book 4 delves deeper into the power of perspective. Marcus stresses that our suffering is often created not by events, but by our interpretation of them. A setback is only as damaging as we allow it to be. We must train ourselves to see challenges as opportunities for growth. He reminds us that external events do not define us. Our response to them does. When we accept difficulties as natural and inevitable, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. This is a critical lesson. To master life, we must first master our own minds. Only by controlling our thoughts can we control our reactions, and ultimately, our destiny. Section 3. Embracing Change. Books 5 and 6. The morning struggle is universal. Marcus too faced the daily temptation of staying in bed. But he reminds himself, we were made for action, not for idleness. He argues that just as bees must make honey, humans must fulfill their purpose. Avoiding our duties may bring temporary comfort, but it ultimately weakens the soul. He urges us to resist laziness and embrace discipline. The purpose of life is not pleasure, but the fulfillment of duty. By approaching our responsibilities with a sense of devotion, we not only strengthen our character, but also contribute meaningfully to the world around us. Book 6 teaches us to embrace change. Marcus compares life's constant transformations to the cycles of nature. Resisting change only brings suffering, while accepting it allows us to flow with life rather than against it. He reminds us that nature itself is in a constant state of transformation, and we are no exception. Rather than fearing the unknown, we should welcome it as an essential part of our growth. Section 4. Handling Adversity. Books 7 and 8. Marcus frequently reminds himself of one core truth. External events are beyond our control, but our reactions are not. He recalls the Stoic belief that nothing is inherently good or bad. It is our judgment that assigns meaning. Today, I escaped anxiety. Or no, I discarded it because it was within me. This shift in mindset is liberating. Instead of fearing hardship, we can reframe it as training for resilience. No one can take away our ability to respond with wisdom and courage. He teaches that adversity is not an obstacle, but an opportunity to practice virtue. The way we respond to suffering defines our strength and character. Section 5. Living with Purpose. Books 9 and 10. Marcus explores the importance of living in harmony with nature and reason. He urges us to align our actions with our higher purpose and to avoid distractions that pull us away from our path. Another key lesson emerges. Do not seek approval from others. The opinions of people, whether praise or criticism, are fleeting. Instead, we should measure ourselves by our own standards of virtue. He warns against allowing external judgments to dictate our self-worth, emphasizing that true fulfillment comes from within. Be content with what you are, and wish not to change, nor dread your last day, nor long for it. Section 6. Finding Peace. Books 11 and 12. In his final reflections, Marcus returns to the themes of death and legacy. He acknowledges that all things pass, including himself. However, this realization is not morbid, it is freeing. By accepting the impermanence of life, we can focus on living fully in the present moment. His final piece of wisdom. Stop postponing happiness. If we wish to be wise, strong, or kind, we must embody these qualities now, not later. Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. Conclusion. As we close this journey through meditations, one truth becomes clear. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius is timeless. His reflections, written nearly 2,000 years ago, still resonate with us today because they speak to the core of human experience, our struggles, our fears, and our search for meaning. Marcus reminds us that while we cannot control the external world, we can control our thoughts, actions, and reactions. He teaches us that adversity is inevitable, but suffering is optional. By cultivating discipline, embracing change, and staying true to our values, we can live with integrity and peace. His final lesson is simple yet profound. Life is short, and the time to live virtuously is now. Do not wait for the right moment to be strong, wise, or kind. Choose to embody those qualities today. If these lessons resonated with you, I encourage you to apply them in your daily life. And if you found value in this summary, consider exploring meditations in its entirety. Thank you for listening, and may you walk forward with wisdom and purpose.